With all the time you're spending playing fetch with your dog, you probably think that you two are tighter than two coats of paint. But what if we were to tell you that you're actually mistaken? Given the language barrier and lack of telepathic connection, there's no way to know everything about your dog. But your canine buddies sure want things to change. From learning whether they want to be hugged to what their yawn means. We'll be talking about 10 things your dog wished you knew about them in today's video. Number 10. They wish you knew that their memory isn't all that great. For some reason, this does not come as a surprise. Too often have you caught your little pups chewing on yet another shoe again. You've probably scolded them once before in the day, but it seems like the message didn't get across. Well, it's not really the dog's fault. They just don't remember what happened. Dogs don't have the best memories, so they're not going to remember the scolding session from before. With that said, you should be a little more patient with them. After all, they're trying their best. Number 9. They wish you knew that their vocabulary isn't that good. Every pet owner knows for a fact that their dogs aren't the brightest bunch. What else did you expect from a butt-sniffing canine? Given their low IQ level, it shouldn't come as a surprise that these four-legged canines don't get most of what you say. Words like sit, fetch, or even no might not make sense to most of them, but that's all right. It's not their fault. It's just how nature intended them to be. Dogs can, however, tell apart your friendly pet voice from your not-so-friendly pet voice. Given that information, you should focus more on tone and body language when communicating with your dog, since it'll give them a much better idea of what you're trying to say. Number 8. They wish you knew that they don't like hugging. After a long day of work, you may have the habit of simply embracing your precious dog into one tight hug, and honestly, we can't blame you. Those hours away from your little furry friend can be agonizing, but it turns out dogs just aren't huggers. Being canines, dogs are actually aversive to hugs. In the past, dogs would only be squeezed or embraced right before they were killed by a predator. Naturally, being hugged does not evoke good feelings for them. However, every dog is different. There are some who will appreciate you throwing your arms around them, while others might turn a little more aggressive. Overall, make sure you aren't too much of a hugger if you really want to respect your dog's boundaries. Some enthusiastic kids might want to hug a dog to death, but you should teach them otherwise. They can show their love by simply stroking gently in the direction of their fur. Your dogs will like that much better. Number 7. They wish you knew that their yawn does not mean they're tired. It's instinctive to assume that when a person yawns, they're tired. The same goes for dogs, except their yawn can mean a whole lot of different things. They could be scared, overwhelmed, or even agitated. To figure out what exactly your dog's yawn means, take a look at his surroundings. Is there something stressful in his environment? If so, then work to remove it. And if you can't do it, then remove your dog from the situation. They'll certainly appreciate you stepping up for their help. Number 6. They wish you knew that they actually like fences and barriers. Most of us think that having barriers or fences around the house might restrict your dog's motion. You feel like you're trapping them by putting up these sorts of obstacles. After all, dogs are free-spirited animals, but the reality is the opposite. The pups don't mind a barrier or two. Instead, they find it stimulating. Dogs don't always have to desire to roam around freely. It might get a little boring for them after some time. The barriers make for good exercise and keep your dog on its feet. So there's no harm in installing one or two around the house or a couple in the backyard. Fences in the backyard provide the added advantage of keeping your dog in the backyard and preventing it from wandering off somewhere else. Number 5. They wish you knew that they take their time in the bathroom. Just like you're in the habit of reading through the morning newspaper when on the toilet, your dog likes to take his sweet time as well when going about their business. Sometimes you might be tired or in a hurry and might try to get your dog to speed things up, but know that they don't like that one bit. They've got a process too, one that needs to be respected. You gotta wait for them to find the right spot, one with a particular mix of smells they want, and not tug on their leash when they're in the middle of things. What's more is that when dogs are going about their business, they're quite vulnerable. It's your job to stand on guard and protect them. They trust you enough to do that, and you don't want to disappoint them. Number 4, they wish you knew that their odd behavior means they're not feeling well. Sometimes you might notice your dog acting a little unusual. They might not jump to greet you when you come home, or they won't bark at the postman when he comes around. Either way, it's a sign that your dog isn't feeling well. You might try to brush it off, marking it as a phase, but doing so could prove to be bad for your little friend. They don't have another way of telling us how they're feeling, so these odd changes in their routine behavior should be taken at face value, and you should rush them to the vet to get them the proper help. Number 3, they wish you knew that eating poop is normal for them. Your dog simply wants you to stop freaking out whenever you catch them eating poop. It might have you concerned for their health, given the fact that it's a pretty disgusting choice of snack, but it's pretty normal for them. Eating poop doesn't really pose a danger to their health. In fact, it might just be their way of getting your attention. One thing you should know is that as long as your dog eats his own poop, he's good to go. But to eat the fecal remains of another animal is a big no-no, so better watch out. Number 2, they wish you knew that they can tell how you feel. Earlier, we mentioned that dogs respond much better to your tone and body language. This makes them more perceptive compared to some of your human friends. Dogs can tell how we're feeling most of the time. If you're sad, you'll notice that their energy goes down as well. Similarly, if you're anxious, your dog will assume there's a threat nearby and become anxious as well. This means you'll always have someone to help you in the toughest of times. Who knows, they might just be able to cheer you up a bit at times as well. Number 1, they wish you knew that they want to spend as much time with you as possible. As a pet owner, you should know that your canine friend cannot stand being away from you. They want to spend every second of every waking moment right beside their best friend, aka you. This might just explain why they're over the moon to have you back from work. Dogs just generally don't like to be alone. With that said, you don't want your dog to feel unloved, do you? Of course not, which is why you should consider dropping your dog off at the daycare center or getting a friend to babysit him when you're going out every day. This way, they'll have some company when you're not there. These animals already have a short lifespan, so you should really try your best to be there by their side as much as possible. So, what else do you think our canine friends want us to know? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to INFORAMA, and we'll catch you on the next one.